Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever time zone you are in. My name is Attorney Justin Camper, and I'm here as your go-to legal expert in criminal defense strategies on how to protect and defend your freedom. And I own a law firm called Justin Camper Law, LLC, where we fight to protect and defend freedom for those who are facing charges in the state of Indiana. And on today, I want to talk to you about a very important topic. How does Trump's reelection affect the criminal justice system? Whether you love him or whether you hate him, his being in office would greatly affect the criminal justice system. So let's talk about it. When Trump was in office for his first term, he was able to pass the First Step Act. The First Step Act actually reduced sentences for those who are non-violent offenders. And this was something that was celebrated by Democrats and Republicans because they felt that it would help us, focus on rehabilitation for those people who are non-violent. And for some crimes like possession of marijuana, people don't feel that those type of charges should even exist to begin with. They feel like it should be legal. That's why some states do make it legal. But now we are here in 2025, and Trump has been able to help push the Lincoln Raleigh Act. And I apologize if I'm saying her name as I'm not pronouncing it right. The Lincoln Raleigh or Lincoln Raleigh. But it was this young lady who was brutally murdered by an undocumented immigrant. And so I want to talk to you about the act. Number one, the act calls for harsher penalty for people who are undocumented and are involved in crimes. So if you are an undocumented immigrant and you are involved in theft or burglary, even if they are just small time crimes, it calls for a mandatory detention. So whether in normal world where you would normally just if you've been charged with a small petty crime like shoplifting, you can bond out, or you may not even be incarcerated at all. They would just mail you a court date. But if you are an undocumented immigrant, you could be found under the Lincoln Raleigh Act in mandatory detention. So this is something that can greatly impact the criminal justice system. Also, now that Trump is in office, he's been pushing for a harsher sentence for violent crimes. So for violent crimes, gun charges, and federal crimes, he's been pushing for harsher sentences. So this may expand the federal government. I've been seeing an uptick in federal charges being taking place with people like even Mayor Eric Adams being federally indicted, and Diddy, and so many others. And even here in the state of Indiana, I've been seeing an uptick in federal charges. So federal charges are now about to be expanded, and people are going to be charged more and more federally. Also, you got to keep in mind that he wants harsher sentences for people who are facing gun charges and violent crimes. And so you have to be on the lookout for statutes that might be changing, that might call for mandatory time. It's going to affect plea agreements where we can't plead for someone to avoid jail time because of certain statutes. So things are going to begin to shift, and we're going to see how the federal government will impact the states, because states have their own statutes and the federal government have their statutes as well. So we believe it's going to have a very, very vast impact on the criminal justice system. And so we are going to sit here and watch. I believe that if you are facing criminal charges, especially if you are someone that is an undocumented immigrant or just a regular immigrant who are legally here, you have to pay especially close attention to your charges. I have clients right now who are documented immigrants here, and they are facing charges, and it's very complicated. We have to come up with creative ways to really help them in their situation. They can't accept normal plea offers that other people can accept, that you normally would accept. So if you are an immigrant here in the States, please make sure that you talk to an immigration lawyer before you enter any plea agreements with the state, because what may seem like a good plea agreement for a U.S. citizen may not actually be a good plea agreement for you, because if you are found guilty of certain things like a felony or certain crimes, you could actually face deportation. So you may want to talk to an immigration lawyer to see how anything that you do within the criminal justice system will impact your status. So it's important that you are in contact with the immigration lawyer if you are facing charges and you are an immigrant here, and that you have your criminal defense attorney think about creative strategies on how to work alongside your immigration lawyer. Secondly, if you are dealing with violent crimes, gun charges, and federal crimes, you have to make sure that you are taking your time with those charges, that you're not just rushing to try to hurry up and get it over with, because it's going to have a lot of impact on your life moving forward. And so many states are and many counties are pushing for harsher sentences anyway, because they want to appease the people for politic purposes. But now with Trump being in office, they may have that extra pressure to prosecute those crimes. Also, with Trump being in office, there is federal funding that might be cut to people who don't participate with the ICE raid. So for states that are choosing to be sanctuary cities, and they are saying that, hey, we're not going to hold and detain people who are immigrants here, or who may be undocumented, they might lose federal funding. And so that is something that is going to have a huge impact. So even those sanctuary cities that people will go to feel, I guess, safe, they're going to have a great impact as well if when detention comes. So we are up for a battle. It is going to be a very interesting 4 years, and the criminal justice system is going to be greatly impacted. I wonder how things are going to go with people with nonviolent crimes. Are they going to continue to reduce their sentence? Is some charges going to be overturned and not a charge anymore? And for those people with violent crimes, how are they going to make those crimes harsher? So be on the lookout. If you are dealing with criminal charges and you are in the state of Indiana, whether it's federal charges or state charges, um, we might be the legal team to help you protect and defend your freedom. And I will look forward to talking to you and really navigating your specific situation so that you can make sure that you are being creative and you understand all the different impacts that having criminal charges can have on your life. So feel free to give me a call. I look forward to talking to you and helping you in your particular situation or your loved one. But it's going to have a great impact with Trump being reelected. And so stay on the lookout. But great things are on the horizon. The legal defense department is going to go stronger. Criminal defense attorneys like myself, we're getting prepared to really help and protect and defend our clients. So keep all this in mind, and I hope you have a super productive day. And before you go, I want you to always remember to stay legal. Thank you. And my name is Attorney Justin Camper. Bye.